Most people spend months trying to find the perfect niche, but I'm about to tell you something that might actually blow your mind. If you found the perfect niche where you could get clients in a week, that is probably the worst niche you could get into, and I would be terrified. Here's why. If you're able to get clients in a week in any niche, that typically means that any other Joe Schmo could also come in and take your clients in a singular week. That means you're 1 week away from somebody stealing your entire business. For a bit of context, my name's Taha. I run Combat Advisors with my business partner Mark, and 3 years ago, I was delivering packages for Amazon for $15 an hour. Today, I run an AI agency that's on track to crack $1 million by the end of the year. And what was the niche selection process that allowed me to have such growth? My media buyer that I hired when I started said he had experience in roofing. That was it. I never researched it. I never validated it, never thought about it again. I just said, okay, roofing it is. And I committed. Now, I'll be honest, I believe I got lucky with that media buyer. Now, not everybody's going to be as lucky. So in this video, I want to share with you a framework that I developed looking back as to what made that niche so good, and 3 questions that you should ask yourself when picking your niche to cut through all the analysis paralysis and help you pick a niche that you can actually dominate. You'll learn why difficulty is actually a good thing, how to find opportunities that everybody else seems to be missing for some reason. And most importantly, my goal is that you walk away from this video with a clear action plan on what to do for the next 7 days. No more overthinking, no more endless research, just a system that works. I promised this 3-question framework in the beginning of this video. Question number 1 when picking your niche is crystal clear. Do they have money? This sounds kind of obvious when you think about it, but so many people build products for industries that just don't have the money to justify spending that cost. It doesn't matter how good your solution is if the person can't afford it. Try to look for industries where the cost of not solving that problem is more than your solution is worth. So for example, roofers, a singular call might be worth $50,000 if it's a roof replacement. So every time that they miss a call, it could be one of those. But on the other side, if they hire so many people that they can always take calls, they're not wasting a bunch of salaries on people who aren't needed all the time. Suddenly, when you look at it that way, a voice agent that costs a couple $1,000s isn't that much money. It's a bargain, actually. Second question, can you reach them? Banks have money, but what is the likelihood of you being able to get in contact with a bank owner or somebody who will be able to approve on a voice project or an AI project for a bank? Probably not very little. And if you do have that access, that's your unfair advantage. You use that. You need to find industries and niches where you can actually interact with the business owner or the person who can write those checks. This is why I like smaller to medium-sized businesses who are maybe making a few million a year max. The owners are typically only one person away, meaning you might call, get a receptionist, but the owner is that second person. They can make decisions fast. There's no 6-month procurement process, or there's no committee that has to approve all these decisions. So number 2, can you actually reach them? Question 3, can you solve a problem for them immediately? This is a really important one. We're not reaching out to these people to see if we can solve a problem. We have to show up with a solution to an existing problem that we know they have. For roofers, it was simple. They miss calls, they lose jobs. I could tell a voice agent that answered their phone 24/7, problem solved, money made. So in your case, think about problems that you know these businesses already have and show up with a solution. I am very much against the concept of reaching out to people for an AI audit. Business owners don't want to waste their time on the phone to maybe potentially start identifying problems. Be different, show up with a solution. I mentioned the roofers. Dentists have one that I've spoken about before, which is whenever you go to the dentist, they're going to call you about a day before in a very monotonous way to tell you that you have an appointment tomorrow. These calls are pointless to the business, but they have to get done because otherwise people won't show up. A person doesn't need to do that job. You can get an AI to do it. And there's so many more of these. You could have one for a barbershop that keeps calling customers back every 3 weeks to get on a recurring plan with the barbershop. I'll give you an example. You could have a voice agent for a bakery that calls your customers, giving them a discount of $10, $20 on their next purchase if they share with you a few birthdays from their friends. And then whenever those birthdays are about a week out, you call that friend saying, hey, by the way, we'll make you a special cake for this specific friend for their birthday. There's so many of these. You could have another one, which is a Google My Business voice agent that calls people after they've been at a local business to identify how good was the service. If the service was good, send them a Google review link so that they can leave a review. If the service was bad, get more information about what exactly was bad in the specific service so that the owner can fix it, but you have to show up with something. Now, here's where things can get a bit counterintuitive. Most individuals are looking for the easy niche. That's actually backwards. You need to look at difficulty like a moat around your castle. The harder something is to start, the bigger the moat. The more clients say no, the more rejections you get, the more complex the problems, the wider and deeper your moat is. I want to put in context that I had over 3,000 cold calls to roofing companies. 3,000. The first ones were brutal. People would curse me out, hang up on me, but after you start doing a couple hundred of those, you start getting pretty good. Eventually you get so good. I got so good at this stuff that I actually started going to roofing conferences and speaking to about the products that we were selling. And I can now walk into any room with roofers and I would understand exactly what they're talking about. That rejection is not, that's not failure. It's your competitive advantage being built in real time. Every person who gave up after 10 rejections made my position stronger. Here's something I remember, or that I try to recall every time things get hard. Every single day that you don't quit is a day that somebody else, your competitor, gave up. That's all it is. It's a last man standing competition. Now here's the real commitment. Here's the real test. And this connects directly to those 3 questions. Can you commit to this niche for the next year, even if it gets hard? Here's what might happen. Month 3 or month 2, you're gonna see some other niche that your friend told you about. It's amazing. Some easier niche. Some trend from whatever, from roofing to hair salons to dentist, whatever. That switch is what will kill your business. It took me a year with very little mentorship to finally crack construction, failing again and again and again. A year, probably about a year and a half. But eventually, there's only so many different ways you can fail. Eventually, it works. And here's something that doesn't blow your mind about opportunity that everybody in the AI space seems to be missing. Everybody's trying to sell these complex solutions to these super advanced tech companies, and everybody's acting like the world is so small. I want to clarify that there are hundreds of thousands of businesses who either don't have websites that look like from their 1990s, and most of them don't use automation at all. So just to put this in perspective, taking a company that's 15 years behind and bringing them only 5 years behind is still a 10-year jump in technology. So that's why I love to deal with boring, more old school businesses, because I get to use reliable technology while still providing a tremendous amount of value. They're also a lot easier to reach. And to wrap it up, one of the last big points I want to make, the real secret in the niche has much less to do with the niche itself over your ability to commit to a singular thing long enough for it to work. I became the roofing AI guy, not because roofing was the perfect industry, but because I was willing to make 3,000 calls when everybody was giving up at 50. The difficulty isn't the bug, it's the feature. It is the moat, it's what protects you from competition. So let's recap so that you can walk away from this video with a clear action plan. Whenever you're looking at a niche, ask yourself these 3 questions. Can they pay for my solutions? Can I actually reach the decision maker? Can I solve an immediate problem for them? And remember these other 3 rules, or these other 3 things, these concepts. Difficulty is your friend. The harder it is to break into a niche, the stronger your competitive moat around your circus. You have to be able to commit. None of this stuff matters if you can't commit for 12 months. Switching niches resets your expertise to 0. Avoid advanced markets. Go look for the people that everybody else has forgotten about. Bring them 10 years in their future if you want to actually apply these. Write down 3 industries that you already understand. Previous jobs, hobbies, connections, whatever. Run each one through the 3 questions, and you might very well find that one of them answers yes to all 3 questions. Now you just have to see if you're going to commit to it for a year. After that, once you've identified it, stop researching, start calling. Your first 100 rejections aren't failures. You have to expect the no. Remember, you're building your moat one no at a time. The person who wins isn't the person who's going to pick the perfect niche. It's the one who picks an okay niche, but just refuses to quit. So if this gave you a bit of clarity on what to do and what to start building, subscribe, because this is literally the stuff that I wish somebody had told me when I was an Amazon delivery driver. This was very much a blessing to stumble upon these frameworks, but you get to get the lessons without scars. If you want more in depth, or if I have a free community where I help people build and scale their AI agencies, so feel free to join me there and I'll try my very best to help you out.